Now, there are some rumors going on about a potential folding iPhone that's likely to come out. Now, we've been hearing about this for a while, but again, there are rumors again going on about it. And this is interesting because of what the foldables are generally. Now, in my opinion, foldables, they don't make a lot of sense. Now, I understand what the purpose of the foldables are. It's basically to have a device that can fit in your pocket but can also give you a big screen like a tablet. It's basically an all-in-one. I think that's generally the purpose of foldable. But there are some issues with the folding device, and because of that, I don't know if it's really the ideal solution. And anyway, the foldables all are they seem to have a I don't know how to say it. They have a certain appeal, but it's not appealing enough for everyone to go and buy it. But yeah, now let's talk about a folding iPhone. Now, iPhone's in an interesting position. The Apple's in an interesting position where they're not like other brands. I mean, Apple products, they have a, what can I say, a fan base of sorts. I mean, there are people always waiting to buy the new Apple products. And even if the products have some issues in terms of, I don't know, maybe it's not up to the mark when compared to the Android counterparts, or maybe the price tag's too high. People who are interested in buying Apple products don't seem to mind that. I mean, they're okay with this. And this is why it's interesting when a folding iPhone might come out. Because the issues and the problems that folding phones generally tend to have from other brands, one of the main reasons why, along with the price tag of some of the devices, one of the reasons, some of the reasons why folding devices haven't really kicked off yet. But these are not things that Apple has to worry about, in my opinion. And as long as the devices are as good as the other devices, even with these issues, I think the folding iPhones will be a great hit. Now, one thing Apple definitely has to do is they have to put in the great camera. They have to bring in their pro-level cameras, because the folding iPhones are going to be expensive. Then you're going to want the best of the best in there. Now, one thing I honestly do think that Apple is going to have a good advantage at is the battery life. Now, since most of the iPhone is inbuilt, I mean, they make most of the stuff that goes into the phone, like the processors and the software. So the battery, I think they can optimize the battery to give a good battery life. Now, that's always an issue with some folding phones, because you have to make the phones thin, and you have to make, because of that, you have to make smaller batteries. And when you have a device that's supposed to be a multimedia device with a huge screen, that's going to take up a lot of battery, and you're not going to be able to use it as much. And I think Apple might not have that issue, but then there's still the folding display issue. Now, the problem with the folding displays is, because of the way the technology is, there's going to be a bit of a crease in the middle. When you unfold it, you're going to see it in the middle. And I don't think anyone's actually managed to find a way to get rid of that yet, because of the way things are now. Maybe in the future we'll do that, but as it is, that's a bit of an issue, and not everyone likes that. But I don't think people who are buying the Apple folding phone, whatever it's going to be called, is going to have an issue with that. I think they'll overlook that. And then what else is there? Honestly, the battery issue with the other devices, I don't think Apple's going to have a bigger issue. The display is probably going to be the same quality. And knowing Apple, they might even come out with something new and even better than that. And if the display is great, and the battery life's good, and they bring the cameras, and because they are making their own software, they can make the aspect ratio correct so that the all the apps would fill in the all the apps can be designed in a way that it will fill in the device exactly. I'm hoping that happens, but yeah, maybe they can do something about that on software front, because that's a bit of an issue with the folding phones, because the aspect ratios aren't exactly correct. But yeah, Apple could do that, and if they do that and actually make it a useful product and make actual use of the entire display instead of just making it one huge screen that you can watch videos on, make the entire phone useful, I think they could have a huge hit. Yeah, I think that, and obviously then we have to talk about the price. Now, the folding iPhone or a folding Apple phone is likely to be more expensive than the iPhones because of the technology. So we're probably looking at a pretty high price tag. So the sales numbers may not be as great as the iPhones, but compared to the competition, I think it'll be pretty solid. And which if Apple managed to make foldables a mainstream thing, then the rest of the brands actually get off better from it, because then more people will be interested in foldables, and if the other brands manage to bring up budget foldables, then they'll probably get a market too. And entering into the market, becoming a mainstream in this market is a big challenge, and I think Apple is the one who are likely to be able to do it. So yeah, let's wait and see what the folding Apple iPhone or something looks like when it comes out.